We're doing a Peacemaker update.
That's okay. Yes.
I like hearing you guys review shows like this because it makes me feel like I'm catching up on like something else, someone else's life.
Yes.
I still have not watched it. Is it still holding up?
I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it more every episode. Let me rephrase it. I liked 1 through 3 more every episode. 4, I could have take it or leave it. 5, I enjoyed immensely, mainly because the White Dragon storyline was less. There was less
the
of
what?
White Dragon storyline.
There's a
you
character.
were Minnesota there for the White Dragon.
Dragon. Oh, that was me being. I'm just.
I love the Minnesota accent.
There is no Minnesota accent.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, sorry, Lower Canada.
My dad has one. I was told. Somebody heard my dad in the background. And
that
said
was
that
me.
He sounded.
I
well,
told
your
Greg
opinion
that.
doesn't matter. Not when it comes to accents, because you're from California.
What?
But I think Nick said the same thing.
Well,
him I trust.
Oh, okay.
I've known a couple people from the Twin Cities, and it's not thick, but it's like just a couple words here and there, and you're like,
Until you can tell me what words they are, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
Dragon, Wigan.
I said dragon.
The plague.
No, you said dragon.
Yeah, but
No,
it's
you
because
said dragon.
I sounded
That's
tired, not
okay.
because of an accent.
But when we're tired, we revert to our natural dialect, which is often regional.
Why'd you have to go there?
Why aren't you proud of it? I just said I liked it. It's cool.
It's because Hannah Claire doesn't have her own accent.
The episode itself,
She's
I think,
jelly.
I like the fact that because we've been watching Archive 81, I'm enjoying the fact that the Peacemaker episodes are shorter. They're not the same time investment at 42 minutes and 50 seconds, I think it was. Whereas all of the Archive 81 episodes are well over 56 minutes. Before credits, which is a very long, time commitment if you're going to put in for 8 episodes.
The credits are only like 10 seconds.
But it's just something in film that matters. I'm just saying, like some people tack that onto the end, some people leave that off. The Batman is 2 hours and 55 minutes before credits, so it's going to be into 3 hours if you want to stay for the end. In this episode, I'm back to liking Harcourt more. The scene with her covered in blood in the car taking the photo was probably my favorite thing that they've done.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I think this actress excels in scenes that have nothing to do with the violence that this show is supposed to be about. The non-comic book, non-ultra-violent elements are where the actress Jennifer Holland really does a really good job. I still think that the guy playing Myrn is kind of... but he's not being given much to do in that respect. If stoic is what they're trying to play him as, it comes off as boring and not stoic. There's a way to do stoic without it being that. And like you said, Adebayo is probably the other best part of the non-main characters. She has this scene in here where they clearly cannot afford to get Viola Davis to come back and play her mom because they have to do the thing in shows where she's talking on the phone, and if the show can afford the actor, you'll hear a muffled version of their voice in the background. In this one, it's just her talking to a phone and there's no return voice, and Viola Davis has a very specific sound to her voice, so they couldn't just fake it. So they couldn't afford her.
I'd like it if they could like cut together sentences from her from other episodes she was in.
Yes, they
like
could
just recycle all the dialogue,
or they have her text her mom rather than actually speak to her. It made me think of like they don't know what they don't do anymore. They don't do that thing they did in House of Cards where they'd have somebody text and they'd show the text box on the screen.
No, they do that for certain shows.
But it's like this show isn't doing it, but you don't see it as much as you used to. The part about the group chat, there's this ongoing storyline element from a band called Hanoi Rocks and a song called 11th Street Kids.
Yeah.
That becomes like a through line from the episode, meaning like the whole episode, Peacemaker is still making fun of Economos for making fun of him. He's mad at this guy for putting his dad in jail for framing his dad, and then they eventually bond over the fact that they both like this band Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah.
And then
they stole that from Gilmore Girls,
basically.
Yeah.
And they listen to a song after they kill a bunch of aliens, and so it's blending these elements of like ultra violence, like you're seeing them shoot shoot people in the head, and like an alien butterfly comes out of their head as you see like bits of brain matter on the ground and everything like this. So there's an emotional through line peppered in with extreme violence that's very much a James Gunn signature, which I enjoyed a great amount, and I think that's where Harcourt shines. That's where them as a group does well. I could take or leave the action scenes because John Cena is the only one there that's actually believable as any type of Adebayo is like probably my height and not, she's a bigger person. Like, you don't buy her doing these action scenes. It's very Hollywood. It's very produced. The rest of it, I guess you could say Harcourt could pass for a passable action person if she wasn't so she's feminine in a way that just seems like she's not interested in doing those scenes. Like she does gruff and unhappy well, which I like. But that because then it works twice as well when she's kind of starts to lighten up and gets along with people. You feel that more, and it draws a closer connection to you as an audience member to this group of people. They're playing up this idea that they're a band of extremely violent and abrasive misfits, which I think works very well. Vigilante kind of got sidelined in this. No judo master at all.
No, he's missing.
We got the storyline with the dad was kept at a minimal. I think that's why I liked it better than the last one. The story about his dad being like a Nazi who's like also a supervillain. It's very of current year, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's a bummer too because Robert Patrick is a fantastic actor, so he's kind of being wasted. Though he's younger than I thought he was.
Oh, really?
He's aged pretty. Not trying to be
dramatically.
Rude. Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude to him. Maybe it's because you see him.
Or maybe they're doing it on purpose because he's like an evil character. They've kind of made him look older because he's been warned by like his sins.
He'd be more threatening if he looked a little bit younger. Plus, I guess if John Cena's in his 40s, I mean it's like he's the right age in real life, but John Cena doesn't look like John Cena's in his 40s. John Cena's in such good shape that he could be in his late 30s, he could be in his mid 30s. You don't really know. The not having Judo Master was a bummer. The two detective storyline is also kind of like I don't really care.
I'm annoyed by it.
I feel like they could have dropped that storyline altogether and just focused on the main characters and given them more screen time, and they would have benefited severely from it. But I did like the part about the song and them having the group chat at the end and everybody responding. It does also play into Adebayo's betrayal. What it is Amanda Waller, which is Adebayo's mother, tells her that she has to plant this diary in plant a diary in Peacemaker's apartment.
I thought you meant like plant, like put it in a pot with some soil.
Should plant evidence in his house, and like he invites Adebayo in to like have a drink after their celebration, and then they're like having a heart to heart because he's like Harcourt. That's really going to be a weird like I think they'll end up paying off him and Harcourt getting together at the end, which is really weird. It just doesn't seem like the type of story that needs a love interest type storyline, but I guess it works. But they're playing on the fact that he trusts this girl more than the rest of them, and then she's very blatantly betraying him, but she has strong feelings about it. She doesn't feel good about what she's doing, and the actress Danielle Brooks plays that very well. So all the story elements that James Gunn excels at, he got actors other than Harcourt as like an action star. He got actors that can pull good performances from that type of dialogue or that type of narrative storyline. So other than I feel like they spread themselves too thin with so many characters and so much going on for such short episodes, and it's only an 8-episode season. Other than that, I think it's going really well. I find more rewatch value in this one. Like I'll probably go back and rewatch this one tonight because when we review these things, I have to take notes, and it's not the same type of viewing experience as just watching something to enjoy it. Because we review so quickly afterwards. If we were watching something and then had more time between when we record and not, normally I would watch it once to take notes, watch it a second time just to watch it a third time with it on in the background, and you pick up stuff that, like, I'm absolutely forgetting stuff, I'm sure, that seemed relevant at the time on my little notepad, but you can't make notes for everything. I still think the Economos character, like, I just don't care about him. The actor's fine. He plays that role of like he's kind of like he's like a bigger version of John. They're both kind of douchey characters, but for their own specific reasons. I just don't really care about it. And then what is it also like? I have a feeling like the other cop is a bad guy, is like going to end up turning on her. That's what I thought you meant when I wasn't quite done with the episode and you were talking about the female. Her name in the show is it's Detective Song.
Yeah.
I think the one played by Lachlan Monroe, the other officer, he'll end up being a bad guy somehow. It was like the look he was giving her when they were outside this judge's house.
Lachlan is a cool name.
Isn't it a cool name?
His
His last name is Monroe, spelled Munrou, not Monroe.
I wonder if that's Gaelic.
Oe.
It might be.
Lachlan is a very
that's cool.
It's got to be. My guess is like Vigilante. I wonder if Vigilante will end up having the final showdown with White Dragon, because they had that first scene in the prison together in episode 3. So I'm hoping that they're not just wasting Freddie Stroma, but for all intents and purposes, this character of Vigilante, the way it's portrayed in here, shouldn't work, but it does. And I do think that again, John Cena is at his best when he's portraying this kind of childlike innocence in the body of an extremely violent person.
Yeah.
The dichotomy there is really, really good. There's the part where he has the idea is like they have to go to this place where they're going to find the food source for these alien creatures called butterflies, and they don't know how to know whether they're whether a person has been infected or not. And he's got a helmet because he wears the character wears a helmet. He's got a helmet with X-ray vision, and he realizes that all the people at this facility are butterflies. So he's just shooting them all in the head, and it's super violent and over the top. But when he plays a douchebag, he's really good too. So it's like they play into this role that like when there's that kid in high school that's mean to you, he's what you would call a douchebag in high school. They're usually it's because they're in like an advanced stage of adolescence where they just haven't grown up yet. That's exactly what this character is. He's like a high school jock turned violent supervillain turned slightly reformed superhero.
Okay.
So, or at least that's what I feel like they're going for.
It's kind of interesting because I know I talked about this last time, but it's like I haven't seen the show for clarification, but it's like a comment on what not learning to mature and deal with your emotions and like what your experiences were in your development.
And
you almost are permanently stunted if you're unable to do it.
And the idea is that his dad did this to him by turning him into a violent killer at a young age. So his dad ruined, his abrasive, douchey qualities are like a mask for the violent tendencies and stunted growth that was perpetrated on him by an abusive and violent father, which is a lot deeper than what you're watching is it's 80s hair metal playing over aliens getting shot in the head, but the through line is deeper if you choose to go look for it.
Yeah.
But if you don't, if all you want to watch is a bunch of aliens get shot in the head while 80s glam rock plays, you have that too. But there's like, to me, that is a sense of as close to art as you can get in a commercialized industry like Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, what did you find to be your least favorite part of it?
I didn't like it when they used Sophie Song. She's one of the detectives. There was a joke with John Cena's character's dad where she's like interrogating him and he's like, okay, Lucy Lou. Yeah. And like she did like this.
Because he's racist.
Yeah, he's racist.
He's equating her to a cultural icon.
Exactly.
That would be my hope. That he's like, I love
Maybe
Kill Bill.
He's so progressive that he actually can name another Asian person.
That would be amazing. and that's the joke. She
then she kills the joke. Like she kicks a dead horse for no reason. Like she starts listing all the country singers. Like she named Blake Shelton and she's like, okay, I ran out of white people to name him. And I'm like, dude, stop with the jokes.
Another part of it that will always be annoying to me is that even though she's doing it as a rebuttal, you can make that joke about white people and it's never going to be considered racist.
Yeah.
But if he does it, it's so bad that it's a component of his character that you have to keep coming back to. It'll always be this weird double standard.
Well, yeah. It also is an interesting
in
depiction.
cinema.
It's an interesting depiction of white supremacists or Nazis or whatever he's supposed to be. Like, wouldn't he not know who Lucy Liu is if he was like, they're all the same and bad? Like, I don't know.
He picked like a very my guess would be like a character like that watched Kill Bill, so he knows who he like. But he wouldn't have been. Able
How do we
name,
know that he did that?
He wouldn't have been able to name more than that. But it's definitely portrayed when she does it to him. It's that she's she's
Rebutting.
punching up
She's
at
clapping
him,
back.
and
But
he's
it's
punching
so
down.
dumb because
Yeah.
like real Asian people don't care.
Yeah.
This is why you can't be racist towards Asian people. They don't care.
Also, they're like one of the largest populations on the planet. Like,
Exactly. Like Asian people can be racist to other Asian people and we don't care. And when other races like make fun of Asian people, we don't care. We laugh at it because it's true. But like when they do stupid jokes like that, it makes me very upset that
White guilt writing on display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't,
Yeah.
from what you guys both seem like, it doesn't seem like it enhances either
Nope.
character of the show. Like, that was what my point was. Like, neither character is deeper or more well-rounded or more relatable or whatever because of this type of humor.
And this is an ongoing thing. Remember, this is the show, and I'm going to bring it back to an example from Superman and Lois the other day.
Yeah.
There's an example here where whenever they talk about this character, they talk about him that he's awful because he's an awful person, but they talk about him being awful just because he's racist, and they kind of gloss over the fact that he trained his son to be a murderer from a very young age and killed a bunch of people. I'm like,
Yeah.
in the past,
Do they believe that he did that so his son would be like a racist killer?
No, he did
Is
it
that why
because-
they always focus on the race, or did
No. So his dad's objective was to make his son like a superhero who gets rid of the crime around the world. Like that's the whole objective. But he never said like, oh, kill a certain race.
and then he and then the other day we were talking about in Superman and Lois,
Yeah.
they have this thing where this character, Jordan's girlfriend, kissed
Yeah.
a girl at summer camp, right?
Yeah.
Which is the most cliche story ever. And then when she comes back and she tells him, everyone's like mad at Jordan for being mad at her, as in they're like, they think that he's mad at her because she kissed a girl. No, he's mad that you kissed somebody that wasn't him.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'm watching this. I'm
he's
like,
not being bigoted? He's
the mom literally goes, she goes, and if she goes, I'm not, she goes to her mom, she goes, well, I'm not ashamed, or I'm not ashamed of what happened. I'm like, why not? You should be, because
yeah,
this makes no sense.
I mean, also, like, if you were to talk to, like, maybe a lesbian,
You shouldn't be ashamed of
if you had a
kissing a girl.
girlfriend who was like, if you walked up to a lesbian and you were like, it's okay if my girlfriend kisses you because, like, I don't think it counts when girls kiss. Like, that's actually very, like,
That's
devaluating.
very
Like, that's not
offensive.
That's not okay. Like, this girl, when you're, I mean, they're teenagers, right?
They're
Or whatever.
teenagers,
Like,
yeah.
you know, teenager relationships are complicated anyway. It's not that they shouldn't be treated with respect or anything
Exactly.
like that. But, like, yeah, no, don't. It's not the LGBTQ storyline is the problem. It's like
It's that you cheated
that
on him.
you committed and that you broke a promise, and that's disrespectful,
And then-
regardless of who you kissed.
And then later he apologizes.
And
That's
gives
dumb.
her a necklace.
He's like, I'm sorry that I made you feel. I'm like, shh.
Also, like, that's just telling him that he can get, like, that's communicating to teenage boys watching the show that, like, there are times when they should be treated like crap for an ultimate political agenda.
So I was like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I'm like, no, he doesn't care that you kissed a girl. He cares that you kissed another human being. That wasn't him.
Also, like, that is wrong. Like,
Yes.
if you're in a monogamous relationship,
And there should be, I mean, they're kids. Like, I get it. Like, this shouldn't, it's not a storyline where it should drag out for 5 episodes, but the kid has a right to be angry.
I just think it sets, like, it's not a depiction of a healthy relationship, even though that's kind of what they're trying to go for.
Well, in the
like, he
show-
should be more open-minded.
Yeah.
But, like, she should have respected him in the first place.
Yeah. It was like,
I don't know. I just hate her character because there's a line where like he's like trying to talk to her and she's like, so are we back together? And I'm like, no,
Yep.
no, don't take her back. She's such a shitty person.
But the point I was addressing was that this is a weird failing on the writer's part, that they're focused on one element that is arguably less important than another element because it fits into some weird cultural narrative that's going on right now, which will be arguably different 2 to 5 years from now. Who knows where things will go? In the grand scheme of things, if you were trying to write evergreen content, you would focus on the most important element, and that's that your dad trained you to be a murderer from a young age and taught you how to kill people and made you watch as people died as a child, which is horrific, violent child abuse. But let's focus on the fact that he's also a racist piece of shit first.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense logically.
Right.
Why don't they
So-
just do what Kick-Ass did? You know, like Combat Girl, what is her name? The one that Chloe.
Yep.
Okay, Combat Girl. Like she was raised to be a killer too.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Why didn't they like?
Totally different tone for the show.
I know, but still, it's kind of like that where they're like, dude, you did a bad thing. You messed up your kid.
Can I ask, would you guys recommend this show, or would you recommend Is it Article 81?
Archive 81.
Archive 81. So which of the two that you guys are sort of currently watching would you recommend?
Well, it depends what mood you're in because
Yeah.
Archive.
No, I want like a definitive
They're
statement.
so
well, I
they're
feel
so
like
different.
you like Archive 81 more.
You would like Archive. I feel like
I recommended it to Chris and he started watching it right away.
So who would you recommend Peacemaker for?
Dane.
Dane.
Yeah,
Like
Dane
what-
would like it.
Describing it. Presumably your listeners. Oh, they did meet Dane. Dane was on your show,
Dane
right?
was on yesterday.
Um,
I don't like. It's like I said. This
it's a
is
little more action packed.
way more. Yeah. The
well,
other,
he likes the un-PC culture in it. That's what Dane likes, so that's why I would recommend that
In
to
Peacemaker, he likes it.
him. I hope so because like.
But I thought you guys were just saying they do like have a lot of PC writing.
Well, it's just like the racist bigoted thing with the white man.
the violence, the ultra violence. I don't think PC is the right word for it. I think it's just more. It's a lot more in your face.
It's more like an action movie.
Whereas Archive 81 is more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, that's why I said you might like it more because like it makes you try to investigate and pick out what's wrong. Like, why is he watching these videos? Why is he hired to do this?
The first thing I would ask the person, I said, I said, do you consider yourself someone with a strong attention span? If they said, I don't, I feel like my attention span is very easily swayed, I'd send them to Peacemaker right away because it's going to hold your attention much more with shiny imagery, lots of swearing, and vulgar dialogue. Which, like I said, that is something where on the surface sounds very childish and immature, but the emotional beats that they pull from this through James Gunn's writing, through the ability to turn characters that are on the outside very, very one-dimensional to be very three-dimensional on the inside, but you have to be attuned to what's being said and to the way the story's told. So
interesting.
Like I would argue that one seems like a surface level psychological, like the Archive 81 seems very intelligent and art house on the outside, whereas I feel like a show like Peacemaker has elements of that, but it's just much more well hidden through layered writing that takes two tones and tries to mash them together in a way that would be very, very hard to do outside of somebody with a lot of talent in the writing process. So I give Gunn a lot of credit for that. I do think, like I said, though, that his writing is much more in tune with something with a movie budget, meaning that those action scenes would have to be longer in a film and more, and you'd see more of it. But seeing one of those an episode, it's very noticeable. Like, we have exactly this much money for one of these scenes per episode, and the rest is talking in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of like the episode because like at the end part with Daniela Brooks' character where she like puts on Peacemaker's helmet with the X-ray vision.
Yeah, you knew right away it was going to happen, but they paid it off well.
Yeah.
Basically, she realizes that the character of Myrn, their boss, has been infected by the butterflies for at least, they don't know how long, but and then he attacks her and the episode ends, so they left it on a good cliffhanger. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.